I'm Geoff Tanner and this is the Ivar console system. The Ivar Street Console system comprises of 7 components. The main component, the heart of it, is a GTM 822 console that has a remote fader panel. It has a power supply over here, an 8-channel mic pre, 8-channel equalizer to go with it, 8x8 submixer for more buses, and an 8x2 submixer to come back on the effects return inputs. Starting with the GTM 822 mixer, console rather, it has 8 channels and 4 buses, 2 main outputs and 2 auxiliary outputs. It has an input level control with 20 dB gain range, 30 dB gain range, I beg your pardon, and input level meter. Pan control, which is automatically set if you send both outputs at once, you'll see the green light come on. Normally this is the fader, but we also have a remote fader option. This is the fader for the auxes, the 1 and 2 buses we have there. Each channel has solo in place, which mutes the other channels, and you can release the mute by pressing another solo. It also has a mute per channel, and each channel has 2 inputs. It's normally in a mixing mode at the moment, taken from the Pro Tools input at the back, or you can press that button and it turns it into a tracking input coming from an XLR at the back of it. Going over to the right side of the GTM, this is the master and monitor section. I didn't mention earlier that the GTM is unique in that every channel has a pre-fade insertion. Every channel has a channel output, and also over on this side the main outputs have a pre-fade insertion in the main output buses, so there's ample provision for inserting compressors or whatever you like in there. We have proper illuminated VU meters which follow the monitor source selector here, and we have uniquely a phase meter, so you can see instantly if you've got a problem with your mix that has to be fixed. With the needle over to the right like that, that means things are good, it's in phase. If you see that needle pull over to the left, you've got a phase reversal and you need to check your microphone channels or whatever that was causing that problem. These are the bus faders, and you've also got a mute button here which cuts the outputs. These 2 blue knobs at the top here are the auxiliary send masters, and you'll notice we have color-coded knobs, so besides the red channel gain knob we have blue auxiliary send knobs and blue main auxiliary bus send knobs. This is the stepped monitor level control. This is the stepped headphone level control, and we have headphone sends on the front of the unit and headphone sends on the back of the unit. And we have 4 monitor meter source selections. You can either listen to the main stereo output, to the playback input, which is a handy way of listening to something you've pre-recorded, to the auxiliary outputs, or if you put it over to the right, it selects what I call Pro Tools input. So if you send the Pro Tool mix to channels 1 and 2, you can flick between the far right position and listen to the Pro Tools mix, and bring this switch over to the left and listen to the stereo mix. Now, while we were looking at the meters and monitor system over on the right of the unit, you may have noticed that we call this device a GTM 822 console. Now, why on earth would we call it a console when it's a 3U high 19-inch rack? Well, what it is not is a mixer. We make mixers. The sub-mixers that go with this thing are what I would call a mixer. This is a fully fledged recording console with all the facilities that you'd expect in a recording console. 2 inputs per channel, stepped input gain control, input level meters, 4 buses, solo in place, insertion sends and returns on every channel, channel outputs on every channel, insertion returns on the main outputs, 2 sets of monitor speakers, 3 sets of headphone outputs. It has D-subs for both input to Workstation Pro Tools and output from Workstation Pro Tools. So there are 2 ways of connecting to the thing, either via XLRs or via D-subs. Now the Ivar console system comes with a remote fader panel system. Everything you see on this panel duplicates on the actual channel of the GTM. So down here we have full throw 100mm linear faders, and above them we have the solo in place, which you can see operates by remote control, the solo system up on the GTM, and the mutes also operate. 8 channel faders, 2 bus faders, and on this particular unit we have a talkback key which mutes the console monitor system. On the left we have our GTPA 8-channel microphone amplifier system. Now this unit is derived from our GTQ2 microphone equalizer unit, except obviously it doesn't have an equalizer, but it does have 80 dBs of gain. The 80 dBs of gain is switched in 10 dB steps from plus 80 to minus 10, and in addition we have a plus or minus 5 dB trim pot that you can neatly fine tune between the 10 dB steps to get precisely the gain you want, with the bonus that it gives you another 5 dBs on the 80, so you've got 85 dBs of gain for very low level signals and minus 15 loss for very big signals. At the bottom we have our famous 10 megohm input DI system, exactly the same as on the GTQ2, which is perfect on guitar inputs. The illuminated buttons that are pressed at the moment are the phase buttons, and above it is the plus 48, which lights red. This unit is 2U high, and at the back it has XLR inputs for transformer coupled for the microphone inputs and for the balanced outputs, and it also has a TRS 1/4" jack for an insertion on it for use with our own equipment. It's an unbalanced insertion.